Yo, what's up? We're back again in another video. So I've been actually saying this for a while. I want to get a tutorial out on how I edit my photos. I've been saying this on my Instagram. Instagram's on the screen right here if you don't know my Instagram. But yeah, a lot of you guys wanted to see a tutorial on how to edit my photos. So let's get right into it. All right. So first off, I want to put the finalized picture on the screen right now so you guys can see. So yeah, we're gonna be turning this picture into that all just from finish to start. So first off, I use Adobe Lightroom Classic. It's basically the main photo editor I use. I also use Photoshop for other stuff and Adobe After Effects for animated pictures. But yeah, I start with Lightroom most of the time, so we're just gonna be using Lightroom today. I created a bunch of presets for myself. As you can see, it changes the pictures in the top left. For every single photo I edit, I make a preset too. So basically, I just have a shit ton of presets. So I normally start with one preset and then like edit it from there. But for the sake of this video, I'm obviously going to be starting just completely fresh. So here on the right, we have our basic stuff. We got exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. So I normally start with all this just to make the tone of the photo right, how I want it to be. Every picture has a different vibe to it. Every picture, it's all subjective pretty much. So there's endless possibilities on how you can edit for all different pictures. So I actually normally start, when I'm taking the photo, I always like expose it for the highlights pretty much because you could do a lot more to the highlights than what you can do to the shadows and the blacks. So I'm gonna bring the highlights down first off a little bit. You fuck with the exposure, contrast. Obviously, we're gonna go back to this like later. Like you don't have to make it look too perfect, but just try to like adjust it, expose it correctly to the histogram on top. If you guys don't know histogram, just like look that up. I normally like bring up the shadows a little bit. I don't do any of this yet. I go straight to the tone curve. I normally add like around 5 points. I usually add a fade to my photo, just like fuck with the little fade. Then I usually bend it down a little bit for a little bit more contrast to the fade. Before we actually get deeper into it, so I post all these pictures to Instagram pretty much. So Instagram, you can't, when you shoot your files, the Instagram is going to have a crop. So I always just adjust that beforehand just so I know what I'm like working with. Instead of editing the full photo, I keep it rule of thirds obviously most of the time. Bottom third quadrant for this picture. Alright, so we're gonna bring up saturation and vibrance a little bit. So if you guys don't know the difference between vibrance and saturation, vibrance brings up the muted colors in the photo, and saturation just brings up all the colors. So honestly, like this is a pretty easy photo for me to edit because I'm like used to like these type of skies. So honestly I just go straight into masks pretty much. So I'm just gonna mask this entire sky out. I'm not gonna worry about the mask like crazy. Like I'm just gonna try to keep the sky mask. That's pretty much it. I usually change exposure just so I can see like what I'm masking while I'm doing this. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go straight into all this shit. With these type of pictures, I expose for the sunset, so I'm gonna change temperature and tint like crazy. Normally contrast as well. Make the exposure or highlights down more. Maybe bring the shadows up a little bit. Now I see like there's a lot of clarity in this. Like I don't want that much clarity, so I'm gonna bring the clarity down a little bit. I used to, a lot of my pictures I used to bring the clarity like up a lot. I personally don't really like it that much anymore, but it's obviously, once again, it's like a preference thing really. You can do whatever you want, but masks are really important for the picture. It's a lot easier to use masks in Lightroom than it is Photoshop actually. So I do all that stuff in Lightroom. But yeah, you could literally adjust the exposure. You could adjust all the exposure, the colors, different parts of each picture. So that's great. There's a little like outline around me, so I'm just gonna change that. I'm gonna try my best. I don't to mask out myself. It's kind of tough. There we go. That looks like pretty good. I do want a little bit more color actually. Like I'm crazy with colors. I do like the orange and purple tones in this picture with the purple with the contrast to the green, which is really nice. I'm actually gonna bring up the bottom just a little bit, maybe the shadows quite a bit. There's also leading lines in this picture as well though, so I want a little bit of vignetting on the right and the left side of this picture, just so we have the leading lines of the sand itself, the pathway to me. So I'm gonna make this a little bit brighter. There's lots of clarity in this whole bottom portion as well. I might bring the shadows down quite a bit and lower the clarity. Alright, after I get like all this done, I just kind of like look at the picture. I like shut my eyes 30 seconds. I just like close my computer or whatever and just fresh eyes look at the picture. I do this where it shows the picture with black around it instead of white or grayed. And I don't know, I just look at like what are some like little adjustments I can do. So I might make the exposure a little bit higher. And then adjust the highlights to that just because it helps all around with the picture. Oh, and when it comes to sharpening and noise reduction, depending on what ISO levels you're shooting in, depending what lens, depending what camera, you want to adjust these. These are really important. I normally like this was shot on ISO 160, so honestly there's like no noise whatsoever. So there's no point for me to like really use noise reduction that much. Like maybe like slightly, but I don't know. And I usually sharpen it just like a little bit. Don't go overboard with any of these. It would look terrible. Like if I go overboard with noise reduction, it just comes out like a blob. Like you can't really see it on the camera, but it doesn't look good. So yeah, just like little adjustments. You could also correct your lens. So you can remove chromatic aberration, enable profile connections. This mainly goes with the vignetting. I actually have an older version of Lightroom, so I don't have my specific lens. So my specific lens is not in here. I'm not going to do this for this picture though. You can. It will look a lot better. It helps with the vignetting of the picture. It helps a lot actually. Then obviously we got the transform tools here. So I always constrain the crop when I'm using these. While I'm shooting, I try to level the horizon out just so I don't have to do it later, because I don't want to crop in on the picture because then I'm going to lose megapixels. I'm going to rotate it though. I'm just going to try to get it like rule of thirds pretty much primarily, and just keep the horizon line straight. That's like the main thing. Then we got vignetting here. Obviously depending on the picture, again, I like vignette it a little bit. Like this picture, I feel like it's a little bit good to vignette it just because there's leading lines that go to the subject, but the subject can be also the sky in this picture, like the big circle. So it could be either, but regardless, the leading lines are going to the center of the frame. So I'm gonna have a little bit of vignetting on it. Then we have grain. I don't really use that. It's like vibey looks. Like a lot of people use grain for like different type of style pictures, but personally me, I don't use them. And then on the bottom here we have the primaries, so you could adjust the primaries each picture. You could change this like crazy. Like this will change the entire colors of the picture. I don't know. I do whatever looks best in my opinion for the picture. There's no right or wrong answer here. You could use whatever. Like this looks dope, but this also looks dope. Like this looks dope. This also looks dope. Like I might adjust it like slightly a little bit to the colors that I want. But other than that, like these are definitely game changers for the pictures. I would try to avoid the blue and orange tones, like having the blue primary to the left of the slider, because that's a style a lot of people just use on their pictures, and a lot of people just don't really edit it and they just like slide it all the way to the left and they're like, bam, looks amazing. So I don't know, I just avoid those styles most of the time. We'll go up to split toning here. For this picture, I don't know if it's necessary really, but split toning is very useful to transition between the colors in the highlights and shadows. So, like honestly, maybe a little bit of saturation to the highlights. I would make them like reddish tones. Shadows, probably not going to do anything with that. And then you could adjust the luminance and the luminance, saturation, and hues for each specific tone in the picture, which is also really useful. That's also, once again, just like preference. So I just kind of leave it like how it is, because I really like these colors right now in this picture. Like, I think it's really good. I think it works really well with the greens and the orange and the purple, because just the contrast ratio. Yeah, but that's it. I'm gonna go into Photoshop now and gonna take out some of these cable wires because I don't want them in the picture. But I'm not gonna show you how to do that. That's a whole nother tutorial. But yeah, that's pretty much how I edit all my photos. Let me know if you guys want more of these tutorials, because I'll for sure do them. Sorry if I went too fast. I'm just trying to get it all in like one, just trying to explain to all you guys. Like, I don't want to have this video like really long, you know. But yeah, this is how I edit my photos. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Also, yeah, just let me know if I should make more videos on this. Alright, yo, if you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more videos, obviously. But yeah, Instagram's on the screen right now if you guys want to comment on the picture when it's all uploaded. But yeah, let's get it. Let's go.